Hello, thanks for coming back. This is Mary from Mary's Home Sweet Home Creations, and I am an independent consultant for Pampered Chef. And my party tonight is all about um, making some cookies. So tonight we're going to make candy cane cookies. And candy cane cookies are some of most people's favorites who've had them. So the person that makes them the best, of course, is my mother-in-law, and we all say she has a secret in rolling them and making them, but we don't know. We follow the recipe, and yet she's the only one that seems to do it completely right. So um, tonight I'm going to be showing you a little bit of a variation, and so the variation that I'm going to be showing you is that normally this recipe calls for shortening and margarine, but I'm using shortening and butter. So that's the difference with this. Also, I'm going to make one batch, this batch with the almond flavoring and the vanilla. And then I'll make another batch later that's just the vanilla. Um, or you can add lemon instead of the almond. Some people don't like almond flavoring or they're allergic to almond. So I like to do some of each now. I used to always do the almond ones. So if you like almond flavoring, you'll like the original recipe. So this also calls for to cream together your butter and your shortening. So you have a half a cup of butter. If you're going to go by the original recipe, you use margarine, either one. Okay, half a cup, which is 1 cube, and a half a cup of shortening. Now, the shortening that I buy has the little markings on it, so it's basically in half. Okay, and then it's a teaspoon of vanilla, teaspoon and a half of the almond if you're using almond. If you're going to leave out almond, you just use vanilla. You add more vanilla. So you'd add like 2.5 teaspoons of vanilla and no almond. Now, if you want to add lemon, you can add the 1 teaspoon of vanilla and then 1.5 teaspoons of lemon. Gives it a little lemony flavor. Okay, and so the way that this recipe works, we cream together the butter, the shortening, and the powdered sugar. This one calls for powdered sugar also instead of regular sugar. So you're going to put a cup of powdered sugar in and cream that together and 1 egg. Okay, and then after that gets going, you add your flavoring. You get your teaspoon and a half of almond and your teaspoon of vanilla, unless you're doing the variation. So then as that is creamed together, you're going to add your flour slowly so you don't have explosion. And you're going to turn your mixer down low. Now, Pampered Chef, they have this new Fix and Mix set that has the hand mixer and all sorts of things that you can use together. So that would probably come in handy right now for this type of cookie because you're going to be mixing it and then adding your flour slowly in, and then a half a teaspoon of salt. And then this part you have to separate your dough in half. So you have your dough and you're separated in half. I made the dough already so you could see. And so you're going to have white dough and red dough. The hardest part is getting a really red dough. This is probably the best color I've found for that. But you just have to try and make it as red as you can to make candy canes because they're very red and white. So it's really up to you. Some people don't want a lot of dye in their food, so maybe they won't care much about that. So if you have that little fix and mix product from Pampered Chef, you could use that to mix up your dye in your dough, or you could put it back into the mixer. This is the large stainless steel scoop. I use that to proportion out my size, because you want them to try and be about both the same size. Okay, so that comes in handy for that. Now the rolling, this is going to bake at 375 for 9 minutes, these cookies, depending on how big you make them. Sometimes I tend to make mine too big, and then they take a little bit longer to cook. You could tell by the edges will get just a little bit brown. And you want to let those cool on a cookie sheet all the way before you take them off, because they will, like my mother-in-law, she makes them the perfect size and she does it just right so they come off super easy. And when I make them, sometimes they're so big and they're too fragile, and sometimes they will break, and that ruins your whole candy cane, but we eat them anyways. So the rolling part is you're going to make your strips, and you're going to roll them out with your hand. Okay. Now I'm doing it on a cutting board. I'm going to scoot you back a little so you can see the cutting board. Okay, so I'm doing it on the cutting board. My mother-in-law does hers a little different. I think she says she does hers on her counter. It has something to do with the way they roll out and stay together. So I'm going to try it just like I would do on here. Now the part that makes it hard is twisting them together without them breaking. Okay. So I pinch this one end of it, okay, and then, I think you still can't see all of it. Okay, so I pinch this end of it, and then I start rolling it backwards towards me. So there's a twist in it and the color. Now, I've even made them straight when the dough isn't cooperating with me. I would make it a straight one like that. But in order to really make them look like a jade candy cane, not a straight candy cane, like, we're going to twist it and turn it up just a bit. So, and then and this one is pretty big, so I'm going to pinch off here. Okay, and then pinch that end together, and there it is. That's what it looks like. Okay, you see that? So now you're going to pick it up and put it right onto your cookie sheet. I'll bring it over so you can see it better. Okay, so that is the candy cane. Okay. And you do that, and you put several of them. They spread a little bit, so make sure you give yourself some room on your pan. And let them sit there. Give it about 2 inches apart so they don't run together. And then you're going to bake them for 9 minutes. Okay. So after I do these, I'm going to do another set without almond in it, and I'm also going to be doing some cutout cookies. I'll see how far I get tonight. You may not see that till tomorrow if you're in the party, or if you are seeing this on Mary's Home Sweet Home Creations page, you might see it in 2 different videos. But tonight we are focusing on the cookie making for the Pampered Chef party. And if you are in that party, just remember tomorrow we're going to be announcing who the hostess is, because we're doing surprise hostess in this party, and they're earning points in order to be a hostess. Now, anyone can be a hostess. They just have to volunteer to be a hostess and then invite all their friends. So it's not hard to be a hostess, but for this party, we're going to make them work a little bit because they're earning points to win the rewards of the hostess. So I will see you again either here at Home Sweet Home Creations, doing baking, cooking, decorating. I'm posting pictures about my village right now and my decorations. So either at Pampered Chef parties or at Home Sweet Home Creations, you could see some of my things. So have a great night, whether you're watching this at night, morning, or afternoon. Have a great one. Bye-bye.